Yo, hi guys, welcome back to another JavaScript tutorial course, and we'll be talking about loops for today. Yep. So if you're just joining us, please do well to subscribe to our channel so you'll be updated on when we drop posts like this, right? So let's get into loops. Now, what are loops, right? So now, in JavaScript, developers use loops to continually execute repeated blocks of code until a certain condition is met. Now, we have learned about conditional statements, right? So loops are similar to conditional statements in the sense that a condition must be met before the code will be executed, just as in conditional statement, right? But the only difference now is that in loops, an additional parameter that is called an incrementer or a loop counter is now introduced, right? And now a loop, a loop here is made up of three arguments. Where you have the iterator variable, we have the condition that must be met before it stops. If not, the loop will continually run till eternity. And you trust me, if you do that, you will notice that your system will start hanging. Yeah. Yeah. The first time I tried that, my system was just I did not add a condition that must be met before it stops. So the loop kept on running till infinity, and it will cause troubles. Yeah. So, and now the next thing is the task that will be performed on the iterator. That is the I variable that was introduced. So let us see the type of loops. We have the for loop, we have the while loop. Yeah, we use this in JavaScript. So how does the for loop look like? So first off, so okay, all right. Now yeah, we are here in our for loop, right? So now this is how the code snippet for a for loop look like. Now, you first of all have a variable, that is the incremental, is assigned a variable, right? Then the next part will be the condition that must be met before it stops. Now, the next part, which is C, is the task that will be performed on the iterator. And this is just how, basically how the for loops snippet looks like. Now, if you don't add that condition that must be met, the incremental will keep on incrementing I plus. Okay, now from what I said earlier, now if you don't add that B part where it says when I is less than or equal to 5, it should stop. That is what that condition is saying here. But now, if you don't add this I is less than or equal to 5, what will happen is that this C part, that is the task that will be performed on the iterator, is telling I to just keep incrementing. So it will just keep counting 1, 2, 3 till infinity without stopping. So that was what I meant. It will keep on counting and counting and counting, and you have issues with it. So basically, this is how the code snippet for a for loop looks like. Now, it varies slightly the while loop, in the sense that the while loop, the variable is being called outside of the while loops snippet, right? Why the increment function, that is the task that will perform on the iterator, is called inside the body. So what do I mean? Let's just see it. Okay, so here now, the variable I equals to 1, that's the incrementer is equal to 1, is outside the while loops keyword. Then you now call the condition that must be met before it stops. Then you now inside the body you now call the increment function. So that is it for the while loop. So let's go into our VS Code. Let us get into some real time work. All right. We are here in our VS Code. Yeah, so for the sake of this video length, I had already prepared an already line of code that you can pause this video and copy and use it, so you can get your hands dirty with what we are doing, right? Because they say practice make perfect. Yeah, so you can pause this video and copy out this code snippet, but I'll be explaining this video codes, so you'll be able to understand what is being written, right? So now, first of all, now let's say let me give you an analogy so you understand the functionalities of how you use the for and the while loops, right? Now let's say we want to get a variables from 1 to to 5. Let's first start with 1 to 5, right? You can easily console log 1, console log 2, console log 3, console log 4, console log 5. Yeah, you can do it. But now what if they now tell you you should console log 1 to 100? So what are you now going to do? Are you just going to keep on typing console log 1 to 3 till 100? That's stressful. You can actually do that with just a line of code actually. Yeah, we can actually do that with just a line of code. Now, how do I mean? Now, first off, let me do one so you understand what I'm talking about. So now, let's say I want if what do you call it, to see the value of of 1 to 100 on my console. But I cannot be typing console log 1, console log 2, 3, 4, 5. I need a line of code that can just easily bring up that output. So I can use the for loop to do that, where I type for loop. Yep. Sorry. Okay. I'll type my for loop. Now, first off, from what we saw earlier, now first off we need to have a variable. Need to have a variable I. Let's say we want to count from 1 to 100, right? Let's give this variable a variable of 1. Now we have to give it a condition saying when I is equal to 100. Let's say when I is equal to 100. Yeah. So I will just be incrementing till it reaches 100, and when it reaches 100 it will stop, right? So let's console log console log I. Yeah, after consoling it, then this is going to run and keep on console logging I. Then when I reaches 100, you can just you can give it we can give it a message saying console log I have reached 100. Let's say I have reached, sorry, I have reached 100. Yep. So this should give us a number from 1 to 100 on our console log. Sorry, it's throwing an error. Okay, let's put this in the string. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So this should give us a number from 1 to 100, and in the when it reach the 100 number, it will tell us I have reached 100, right? So let's run this. Let us see let's see what it gives actually. So clicking it, let's run it. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay, sorry, I need to save it first. Let's see. Okay. It's not incrementing. Why is that? Sorry. I did not specify my condition. I just assigned I equal to 100. So it's just basically incrementing and incrementing and incrementing. So let me assign. As you can see, what's happening here is just assigning it's just what's it called, it's just loading, it's just giving me 100 because the condition I give to it is not a valid condition. So it will just keep on looping till eternity. As you can see, it's just looping to eternity. So this is the error I was talking about. If your condition is not a valid one, it's going to just keep on looping and looping and looping and looping. It's just going to be looping and going. As you can see, it's just looping, it's just looping and looping. But we can fix that. Let's say I since I is equal to 1, let's say I is less than 100. And let's save this and run this code again. Let's see. Sorry. Okay, see, saying code is already running. So I just refreshed the what they call it, the VS code. All right, so basically, as you saw, we encountered an error because of our condition was not being specified. So basically, what happened was that in the incremental function, it's saying I is equal to 1. Then in the condition, I now set I is equal to 100. So the incremental function, that is what should be done to the incremental, is just I is equal to, just keep on incrementing I. So what was just happening was that 100 kept on outputting till infinity. So that's why it kept on loading. So now if we now say I is less than or equal to 100 till, so what will happen is that it will start from 1 and to keep incrementing till it reaches 100. Then to now tell you I have reached 100. So let's run this code now. Let us see what happens, right? So now this is what I was talking about. So now it's going to start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 100. Then to now tell you I have reached 100. So now that is it for the for loop. Now that is that for the for loop. So now for the let's comment this and let's still see this other example I used here. I give another example, right? I just comment this out. And, let's run this example. Okay, this is just yeah, yeah, this is it. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier. Now you want to count from 1 till 5 and still and now say counting complete. If we run this, we'll get our code. Yeah, fine and quite all right. Yeah. But what if we don't want to start typing all these long console log 1, 2, 3, 4, all these jargons, so this will come up. We can still do this same code. We can still get the same result of this code. This same long thing now you're seeing here, that same thing, we can just get the same result with just this 4 line of code or 3 line of codes here. If we save this and run, let's run it. See, the same thing instead of writing all those long jargons there. So let's comment that out. Now let's talk about the while loop, right? Just like in the for loop, Now this is the while loop, right? Like I said something earlier, first you call the incremental variable outside. Now, mind you, it's not a must. This incremental must be I. You can call it anything, but it's just going to do the incremental function. Okay, let me call it another thing. Let's call this number. Then we'll come to the incremental side, then call it number. So you don't think that we are being what they call it, boxed to using only I. No, we are not boxed to using only I. We can call it, because you're basically declaring a variable. If you remember our last class, one of our last class, we were talking about variables. You are basically declaring a variable, right? So we can actually use other numbers here. Now in the while loop, the variable is called outside, and the incremental function is called inside. Then why the condition that must be met, so it stops, will basically stay inside. So now let's use the while loop to get this same result as the for loop earlier. So if we save this and run this, Okay. Sorry. Okay. Oh, I didn't console log it here. I need to console log it here first. Okay. Yeah. Cool. See it first. Then let's run this code. So as you can see, it's giving us the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counting completed. So now this is how the while loop works. Yeah, this is how the while loop works. Now, I prepared a little um, test for us that we can use to understand how it works. Now, and the test is basically a one where you can use to measure. You can use to measure the reward given to given to some contestants, right? Now we're going to console log gold medal for the first, silver medal for the second, and bronze medal for the third. Then it will bring out other variables from 1 to 10. So basically what it's doing here is that it's saying he's going to check uh, um, if the incremental is on the one variable and to console log gold medal. Then if it's on the second variable, that is on 2, it's going to console log silver. If it's on 3, it's going to console log bronze medal. Then why for others, it will just bring out numbers for them. So let's see what that code looks like instead of what is instead of what is I'm saying. Yeah. So now this is the for loop. So basically in this for loop now, we now used conditional statement to state some conditions inside the for loop, right? This is another use of the for loop. Now in this for loop, we are saying I is equal to 1. That is the incremental variable is equal to 1. Then I is less than or equal to 10. So when it reaches 10, it should stop. That is what's saying here. So now it will increment, that is I plus plus. Now, inside the body of the for loop, we now declare certain conditions. Now, the conditions are saying when I is equal to 1, we should console log gold medal. So now, if else, if I is equal to 2, we should console log silver medal. But if it's 3, we should console log bronze medal. Then if it's then from others now, we can now just console log just I. So let's run this code now. Let's see what it will give us. If it will give us 1 to 30, yeah, cool. This is it. Gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal, then till 10. Now let's just say I want to tell this code to console log for the other variables that for the other contestants that don't have a medal. I can console log you don't have a medal, or let's just say yeah, you don't have a medal, try again. Yeah, let's just put it like this, and we should save this and console log this. You'll see what it's saying here, right? So that is it for using the for loop and conditional statements. Now let's say I want this same result. Let's say I want this same result, but now I don't want to use the for if and else statement. I want to use the switch statement. Remember, you can easily just change this if and else statement to the switch statement, and that is exactly what I did in the next line, right? So let's just consider this and just so let's just comment that out. Sorry, and this. Let's see. This is so now here this is where you use the switch statement for the conditional part. Now we call the for loop and all. Then we now call the switch statement. We now call say it for case 1. That is when I is equal to 1. Let's consider gold medal. For case 2, when I is equal to 2, console silver medal. Then when I is equal to 3, console bronze medal. So if we should save this and run it, it should give us the same result. Now this is it: gold medal, silver, bronze. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 and 10, right? So that is just that for the for and the while loop. So now this code, we can easily use the while loop to do this same thing. Just copy the code snippet for just use the code snippet for the while loop, and just do the same thing. You just get what you're looking for. All right. So okay, let me do an example with the while loop so we understand what we are saying. So we can let's do this, right? So cool. So we can say the while loop, and now let us say what condition do I give it? First of all, we'll call our variables var I. You can use any variable. It's not even must be I. You can say I is equal to 1. Now the condition to be met is that I is less than 10. Yeah, cool. Then we now say console dot log I, also dot log I. Yeah, and on top of it, you can now see I increment. Yeah. Yeah, that should be it. Then we now say yeah, that is it. It's equal to dot log. Let's say now I want us to what do I give? Okay, let's run this same what do you call it? This same medal example, but now let us use the while loop. Let us see what it will give us, right? So after doing this, we now say called if or else statements. If statements for the said I equal to is answer, and then I have an else if statements, and an else if statements. Says here sorry, if I is equal to 2, I is equal to 2, let's just consider our silver medal. Then another else if I is equal to 3, let's consider our gold medal, our bronze medal, sorry. Our bronze medal. Cool. Our silver medal. Then else just console log I console log I. Yeah. So Okay, so we so let's move this from here and move this from here. So that is it. So let us run this. Let's see if there's anyone. Okay, run this. Let's save this and run this code. Now, yeah, so we have gotten the same result, but now we use the while loop. So I just have to do this code so you see how you can use the while loop to get the same result, right? So that is just that for the loop. So now let you see us in the next video. Thank you for staying with us, and the next video we'll be talking about functions, right? See you.